Recently in the Avengers storyline, a new team has finally formed up. And in the first 3 issues of this storyline, the Celestials have come to Earth to finally destroy Earth. And Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America have created a new team, which features Ghost Rider, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther. It was pretty epic, and we left you on an insane cliffhanger last time with the Celestials coming down and us discovering the true meaning of the entire universe and of what the planet Earth's role in all of that is. Well, it's time for Loki to explain all of that in today's episode of the new Avengers run. And if you've just stumbled in here because you want to find out more about the Avengers comic books, well, this is the complete story series where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks, single issues, video games, and movies, and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. We read them back to you like an audiobook narrative, removing some of the text from the panels for copyright reasons, and all art is owned by its respective companies. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you at the end of the video. In our last video, we learned that 1 million years ago, Odin, along with the first Avengers, defeated a crazed Celestial, followed by the first host in the retaliation. A million years later, the current-day Avengers assembled as the last of the remaining Celestials. The final host descended upon Earth, led by none other than Loki. Thor and She-Hulk left for old Asgard to get answers directly from Odin, while Loki seemingly saved Captain America and brought him to the body of a dead Celestial known as the Progenitor. And from what Loki said, the Progenitor is not only the father of the Avengers, but he is the father of all superhumans. As Thor stands before the weathered old Odin in old Asgard, he says that he cannot believe that these exploits have never been spoken of. Odin tells him that he's had a long life. Stars would go black before he could tell them all, even the parts that are fit for telling in the company of a lady. However, there are secrets that even the All-Father will take with him to Valhalla. Thor says not the ones that he seeks. 1 million years ago, he and his primordial allies defeated the Dark Celestial. They need to know how. Odin says, they did. They did fell a weakened and sickly Celestial. But Loki's final host, they are a different breed. Not even the Odin sword or the enchanted Jarnborn can bring them down. There are many things hidden away in Asgard, but none of them will defeat the foes that they face. It will only make their ultimate death far more spectacular. Odin gets up, leading both Thor and She-Hulk to a hidden chamber, stating that this place was designed by him so that no one would ever see it. But what's behind the door could very well be the end of the world, or perhaps even save it. Open it if you dare, Prince of Asgard. Thor hesitates, asking what could be so powerful that it needs to be locked away. But before he could get his answer, She-Hulk cracks her knuckles, ripping the door off. A wave of cold air hits everyone, and Thor asks what is behind these walls of ice, and Odin tells him that that is their problem. Thor grips his hammer, telling She-Hulk, "All right then, race you to the center, Lady Walters." As the two charge their way in, breaking down the ice, Odin quietly says that he is only racing towards his doom. Back on Earth, Iron Man and Doctor Strange head to the mountains of Greece to find possible answers for the Eternals. And what they find is death and destruction. Doctor Strange looks at the bodies of everyone, stating that judging by the way they lay, it would appear that they did this to each other, or possibly themselves. Iron Man flies through the ruins, stating the Eternals claimed that they were created by the Celestial, and they were left on Earth to watch over humanity after the Celestial tinkered with humans. There's gotta be something that we can... But before long, Iron Man finds the body of Ikaris, barely breathing. He rushes down and hears Ikaris stating that this happened because they learned the truth. The Eternals, they were great fools. They weren't there to protect them. They were to cultivate them. To the space gods, the humans were a useful pathogen. They were the ultimate. Ikaris screams out, and Iron Man yells to Doctor Strange to do something, but Doctor Strange tells him, "I'm trying, but I fear we may have been too late." Ikaris continues, stating that the final host, don't let them unleash the Horde. Only the Unimind can stop them. Iron Man asks what is he talking about, and Ikaris reaches up, touching Iron Man's face, telling him that only you can be the cure. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Ghost Rider was left to himself after he pulled off a piece of celestial tech from one of the dozens of dead Celestials that fell to the Earth. He uses his Hell Charger to try and locate the final host, and after learning that Loki and the Dark Celestials had escaped being warped into the sun, it brings him to the North Pole. He races over the icy waters, stating, "Great, I see the final host. Now what the hell am I supposed to do?" Suddenly the Hell Charger pulls itself underneath the ice, and Ghost Rider says, "That's pretty cool. Didn't know I had a submarine mode. Guess I'm supposed to sneak up on them, huh?" Suddenly, right, they'll never see me coming. It's not like I'm on fire or anything. Back at old Asgard, Thor and She-Hulk continue breaking through the endless walls of ice when they finally reach the center of the room, revealing what they have been looking for. A large blue jewel known as the blood of Ymir, the first of the Ice Colossi, the father of all the giants. Thor says there it is, and with that they can. But before he can finish, he collapses, stating it's too cold. Take it, She-Hulk, while you still. She-Hulk scoffs, telling him, Beauty Thor is cold, why not say so? Hulk warm as there is. And then she kisses him, giving Thor her radiated heat. A short while later, outside the destroyed doors, Thor walks out, holding the blood of Ymir, stating that you have my many thanks, Lady Hulk. She grunts, stating, whatever, want to smash things now. And Odin says, aye, that we will. With this new weapon, there will be much smashing indeed. He turns away, telling them, make a good thunderous show, boy. Just as you once did, and when it's all finished, when it's all come to its oh-so-predictable end, when you lie in the blood-drenched ruin at the feet of the final host, face your judgment like a god. Say farewell to Midgard once and for all, just as you should have done. But while everyone prepares for their grand attack back at the North Pole, Loki explains to Cap more of the story of the first Celestial. He says that the Celestial came by some cosmic design. It just merely fell. It fell because it was dying. As it turns out, even an omnipotent space god can get sick every now and then, and it came down with a rather nasty infection. The infection would be called the Horde. The Celestial had encountered a swarm of cosmic locusts that were traveling in deep space. In those days, the Horde would normally feast on infant worlds, but there was even more power inside of a Celestial they discovered. These particular Celestial are now hopelessly infested, the first of its kind to ever become diseased, Patient Zero. It landed on the muck of Earth before it formed, where it vomited and bled and wept its radioactive tears before slumping over and dying. That sickness seeped into the Earth, flowing through the shifting seas and the primordial rock and lava. The infection stewed for 1,000,000 years until the entire planet had become diseased, forever altering the Earth's evolutionary trajectory. But why is the Earth so uniquely eccentric within the near infinite number of planets spread across the heavens? It's not because of some grand purpose, but because of that bubbling black puddle of celestial regurgitation, the monstrous things that would come slithering out of it, and the guesses as to what those monsters are? Loki lifts his hand and he points at Cap. You and your mutated gamma-irradiated web-slinging ilk. And this is who you have to thank, the progenitor, the god who died so that you might live. Down below the two of them, Ghost Rider slowly drives up listening. Whoa, we're God's vomit! Yeah, I could kind of see that. Cap struggles in his chain, stating, you just don't get it. It doesn't matter how life started, it only matters what we do with it, and what I'm going to do with mine. Cap stands up, headbutting Loki, and Loki quickly contains him, telling him, I understand how you feel, however, my story isn't over. The next Celestial came to Earth in 1,000,000 BC, seeking out that progenitor who disappeared so many years before. The Celestial's name was Asgard the Aspirant, and soon found the lonely place of the dying corpse teeming with millions of writhing horde bugs. The sight must have drove the poor Celestial insane. Or perhaps it was the horde infection that quickly found itself a fresh meal. Either way, the Celestial found no love on this world. Instead, your father and the prehistoric henchmen bludgeoned the poor Celestial senseless and left it for dead deep within the earth. They hoped they'd seen the last of its kind. Clearly, they did not. But now with two missing Celestials, Earth got the attention of the entire host. The All-Father of Asgard prepared to face his final judgment. But in its wake, none came. The first host left all as it was. They left the Celestial buried in the ground, slowly succumbing to the infection. It would have been that the first host feared falling victim to the horde disease themselves and wanted to keep it contained on Earth, and their plan worked. But no longer now, huh? As you've seen, all of the hosts are now dead, all except the final one, all except for mine. The horde disease did not kill Zagreb like the progenitor. They changed him into the first of their own rabid brand of Dark Celestial. He was named Zabreb the Sorrower, and together with the rest of his kind, he infected and felled every Celestial in existence. But as Loki goes on, he suddenly feels the pull of a chain around his neck. Ghost Rider tightens up the chain, telling him, cool story, but I got one too. It's called Ghost Rider Kicks Your Ass, and here's how it goes. A few moments later, Iron Man and Doctor Strange fly by, attempting to land an out-of-control plane when Iron Man gets a call. He picks it up hearing Ghost Rider stating, hello? And Iron Man says, how the hell did you get this number? Ghost Rider says, believe it or not, Howard Stark. Yeah, we all know that he's dead, but my car talked to him. Anyway, just wanted to say that I found Captain America and those space giants, and if you couldn't tell, this is Ghost Rider. Iron Man asks, where are you? And as Ghost Rider is dodging one of the Celestials, Cap says, "I'm not sure, but I think we just passed Sweden." Iron Man yells, "Don't move, we're coming for you." And Ghost Rider tells him, "Yeah, that definitely won't be a problem." The scythe of the Celestial comes down, narrowly missing the car, but the force sends it off course, crashing into a nearby village. Just then, the trunk pops open and Loki, now in chains, yells to the final host to get him out of this Odin damn trunk, burn everything. Iron Man and Doctor Strange rush to Russia, where Ghost Rider's signal cut off, and they begin trying to help the people of the village as the final host begins to set everything ablaze. Iron Man grabs one of the children, stating that this can't be right. If we were the Avengers, we'd already have a cunning last-minute plan to save the world. Oh wait, we do! Doctor Strange asks him, "Do we? That Eternal really fried your brain good, didn't it?" Iron Man yells that he can't hear him over the thinking of his awesome plan. "Motherboard, what's the ETA on that awesomeness?" The motherboard tells him 3 minutes. As the two land, one of the locusts skitters towards them and Doctor Strange asks, "Were the insects part of your awesome plan?" And Iron Man tells him, "No, but I do love surprises." A voice calls out to them stating that they'll love this. A bolt of green lightning strikes, with both Black Panther and Captain Marvel appearing, and Black Panther stating, "I just used the labs back up at Alpha Flight. Currently, me and Carol are charged with the same energy as the Horde creatures." And Carol says, "In other words, just leave the bugs to us." As everyone stands before the final host, Doctor Strange says, "Great. The bugs are taken care of, and that just leaves the unstoppable space giants." Just then there's a loud booming sound as Thor and She-Hulk land, and Thor says, "We are in need of faces to be punched, aye, and that we can do." Doctor Strange asks where have they been, and She-Hulk says, smashing and kissing." Doctor Strange stares, and Thor says, and we found an ancient magical weapon that will help us stand on more equal ground with these dark Celestials." Thor breaks the blood of Ymir in half and hands a piece to She-Hulk, and as the two begin to eat it, She-Hulk simply says, "Tastes like hell." Thor chews it, telling her, "Aye, hell is definitely how it feels in my gut." Thor and She-Hulk begin to shout in pain as power begins to flow through them, and while the others begin to evacuate the rest of the village, Cap gives Ghost Rider a little pep talk. Ghost Rider says that he would love to help the world, but he really can't fit one of those Celestials in the trunk like Loki. Cap tells him that he is more than a car. More than any Ghost Rider I've ever known. Ghost Rider looks over at one of the dead Celestials and says, "I guess that means I'm gonna have to upgrade." He runs over to the body and starts to climb in it, and after a few moments, he disappears and the head begins to burn. Ghost Rider stands up in the Celestial body asking, "Is this hot enough for you, Cap?" Iron Man calls out, "Nice work, Fast and the Furious. Now what do you say? Ready to save the world?" And Ghost Rider tells him, "Hell yeah, I am!" As Thor and She-Hulk grow to the same size, they all ready themselves for the final fight. Iron Man walks out in his God Killer MK2 armor stating, "I'm pretty sure they all heard that for 1,000 miles, kid. I like your style. Now come on, giant-sized Avengers, let's show these Celestials what it's like to pick on someone their own size." The four charge in, hitting the Dark Celestials, and Iron Man says, "You know, this day has been so crazy that the giant Hulk has actually become a cause for celebration." She-Hulk begins to yell, "No talking, only smashing!" Down on the ground, Black Panther and Carol get to work on the bugs, with Cap stating that now he's got his shield attuned to the same bug energy. It's time for him to get into the fight. She-Hulk bites down on one of the Celestials, stating, "Tastes like bomb in mouth, Hulk want more!" Thor bashes another, stating, "Finally, Iron Man, you have the body to match your ego, and I have a hammer the size of a battleship, ha!" Iron Man tells him, "You are enjoying this way too much, Thor." Motherboard says reactors 5 and 7 are, but Iron Man asks, "Didn't you hear what She-Hulk said? No talking, only repulsing." She-Hulk knocks down one of the Celestials, and Ghost Rider says, "Wow, they really brought the Obliteratron down." Iron Man grabs the scythe of the scythe-wielding Celestial, asking, "Wait, you know their names?" Ghost Rider says, "Well, the longer I'm side of this body, I'm starting to understand. The one on fire is Valknar, and this guy's Callus the Void. They're the leaders of the final host. If we don't stop them here and now, the Horde will keep making more." Callus headbutts Ghost Rider as Valknar hits Thor with a blast of fire, and he yells, "We may be the same size as them, but we're still short on power." Callus then swings his scythe, cutting off one of Iron Man's God Killer 2 arms, and he says, "Sure, let's try this one with one arm. It'll be a fun challenge." As the massive arm falls to the ground, Carol says, "Thanks for the hand, Iron Man, but we got things under control down here." Iron Man grabs Callus by the arm, shouting, "Hell with it! I'm gonna fly this guy into space and blow up the whole damn suit. If we manage to take one out, maybe the others will." But as Iron Man takes off, large hands reach up, grabbing him, pulling him back down. As the dead Celestials begin to get up and hold him down, he asks, "Does anyone remember the dead Celestials? Yeah, there's zombie Celestials now. Not only are we outpowered, we are completely outnumbered now." Thor struggles to keep Callus back and says, "The magic, it's starting to wear off." And Iron Man says that if anyone has a Hail Mary pass, now's the time. But with no one coming up with any ideas, Iron Man yells, "Screw it! Eject all core!
maximum effort. As the GK2 system starts to surge, Iron Man ejects out stating, "That's 4 billion worth of fireworks. Never let him say they died without flair." Once Iron Man gets back to the ground with the others, he then asks, "All right, what's the plan?" Cap says, "Well, Loki said the life on Earth is the result of a dying Celestial." Black Panther then says that if that's true, then they really are Earth's infection. Iron Man tells him, "Right, so why keep the world alive with the thing that could kill us?" Carol flies down stating because they saw the potential in them. They knew what we'd become. Something that could beat the Horde for them once and for all. Doctor Strange calls out, "We're the living virus vaccine." Celestials needed a cure for the Horde, and they saw that humanity had the potential to make one. After a few million years of simmering in a pot of infection and rotting Celestial, we did it. The cure is us. Iron Man calls out, "That's it! Akaris told us how to do it! The Unimind!" Okay, I know this is going to sound really hippie-ish, but if we're going to save the world, we're going to need to be one mind, literally. Akaris put the secrets of the Unimind into my head just before dying. It's an ancient method the Eternals use to combine their energies. Carol tells him that if that's supposed to be a sex joke, she's personally going to put him back in a coma. Everyone quickly gathers around the one thing that is big enough to hold their collective powers. Ghost Rider piloting the dead Celestial. Doctor Strange begins to concentrate and says, "Ew. Thor and She-Hulk really did make out. Oh God, I can't stop seeing it." Cap then calls out to Ghost Rider, telling them, "We're all counting you for this, kid." Ghost Rider shouts, "My brother Gabe at home is scared. Screw that!" As the power release from Ghost Rider knocks everyone away, Thor takes the time to kiss She-Hulk once more. Iron Man shouts, "Oh God, they're doing it again! Hey Carol, don't you suppose you wanna?" Carol begins gagging, telling him he can go to hell. And once the power fades, Ghost Rider sits in the middle of a pile of dead locusts, asking, "Did we do it?" Carol tells him that he did great, Ghost Kid. The Horde is dormant. Black Panther folds his arms, stating, "Well, not all of it. The bugs inside of the final host are still firmly entrenched. We'll have to be pulling those out by the roots. Our fight isn't over." Cap helps Ghost Rider and he asks, "Are we really back to square one?" And Cap smiles, "Not exactly. We've got some friends who can help. On your feet, everyone. You know the drill. Avengers, assemble!" The Horde purged Celestials that were once dead stand up to fight against the final host with the help of the Avengers, and as they go into battle, the Prince of Lies beholds his utter defeat and rather unexpectedly laughs. Loki laughs so hard as he says, "Welcome back, Avengers."
And there you have it, more Avengers. I do want to apologize. We did issues 1 through 3, and I meant to go back to the story, and I completely forgot. That's literally what happened. We did not delay it for a reason. I forgot. It happens sometimes, guys. But if you want to get more Avengers, then let us know by telling us in the comments down below and giving this video a like so we know, like, hey, Benny, I want to see what's happening with this Avengers group. I really like this Avengers group. And we are going to explore that Thor She-Hulk kiss. Trust me, they do go into that. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel, give this video a like to let us know you want more, and you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, where we do a lot of stuff over there as well. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you next time right here.